not wash the negativities of beings, remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in the miseries room. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the wheel. Page 14. Yeah. Okay. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the entire transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in will conduct, Sagata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the entire transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shankitran, I prostrate, make the offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you, who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame and praises in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust-free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star or visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all seen, subdue the foe of false, and be delivered from the samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 31.
Page 31, Heart Sutra Mantra. We'll just recite it 7 times. Gati gati aragati arasam gati bodhi swaha gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhi swaha tayatha gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhi bodhi tayatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi tayatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi tayatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi Next page, page 32, 8 verses of mind training. And as we recite this, please keep in mind to distinguish between self-confidence and self-grasping or self-referential ego. So what is being undermined in this prayer is the self-referential ego and not the self-confidence. Okay. So with the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I had discovered a jeweled treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped, or in whom I have placed great hopes, mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. Lightly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast estates that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds are still blinded by ignorance. Let's turn to page 37, short mandala offering. We will read from the 4 dharmas of Venerable Gampopa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the dharma. May I be blessed that my dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that all flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps our true existence, please bless me to generate renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not even see an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness, the foundation of all good qualities. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again, please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, trained in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma binding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths. May I quickly attain the stage of Vajradhara. So we will now light the lamps. I'm sorry we didn't do that earlier, and Geshe has arrived. He will join us shortly.
Okay, let us all come to light the lamps. Come. With folded hands, this is the Buddhas of all directions, shine the light of Dharma. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions, shine the lamp of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions, shine the light of Dharma. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries flow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions for all bewildered mysteries flow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered mysteries gloom. Okay, thank you. Please take your seats. Okay, page 57, the Noble Mahayana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Okay, I remember it was many years ago, perhaps it was in 2012, that Tibet House we initially started Sunday classes. It was, I think, like 9 to 9:10, and we just had the Sunday classes. Then in 2012 there was one girl who just finished, I think, her MPhil, Nilzala, some of you know her well. Then she showed interest. She told me that whether or not there's going to be Sunday classes. If not, then her time here in Delhi doing MPhil, I think MPhil is finished. Now there's no point in staying here in Delhi, would rather leave for Ladakh. And if there is class happening on Sundays, then she'll be happy to stay behind. And it was, I remember it was at the peak of heat in Delhi. And just for 1 hour class a week, she's ready to bear the heat in Delhi. So that really moved me and felt that, okay, we have to start something more than just 1 hour class on Sundays. Then we started with the Friday class. Okay, so the initial topics were quite interesting, more like the selected topics, which are oftentimes the points of discussion in Buddhism and pertaining to our day-to-day life. So we selected, it was a part of the IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National, what is that? Indira Gandhi National Open University, Central University of Tibet, the Tibetan Studies, Varanasi. They were collaborating with IGNOU, and then they convened a meeting of experts on deciding the topics and the syllabus for the bachelor's, master's for the IGNOU program. So I was part of that, and then we already had a very good selected with experts, many experts. We selected various topics, which is quite comprehensive. That I saw would be interesting to be introduced here in Tibet House. So the Sunday classes initially it was done on the basis of the topics which were decided there. So we came to an end, clean completion of that series. So now we are thinking of it has been some time that there's a gap, and no doubt most of the people who are attached to Tibet House, they are more now moving to a different phase meaning to a more the expertise, to a level of the more proficiency, the knowledge master's course. So therefore then there's a gap happening. Those who are doing the master's course, who has been with Tibet House for so many years, they're doing this, and then there are some who are interested in the Buddhist philosophy, teaching and so forth, maybe more on a beginner level. So there is a gap. So what do you do? And then recently, I was thinking of keeping a little gap in terms of the classes. Then the secretary was quite pushy. Secretary said that she was getting emails from the people, what happened to the Friday class? So we are nowhere now in Tibet House. We are not in the part of the Northern Master's course. No, we are getting any other class outside Northern Master's course. So this was what she was persuading me, driving me, bulldozing me. And then that also touched me. That also inspired me. Okay, yes, I'll surely do that. And in fact, one thing which is considered very important in Buddhism is that, generally speaking, unless somebody make the request, you are not entitled to, bulldoze them to listen to what you have to say. This is not what is supposed to be done. So it is very what is the word? No, I'm forgetting all the words. Okay, so it is very precisely advised by the Buddha that unless somebody made the request, you're not entitled to just push them to listen to what you have to say. Okay, so from this, initially started by Nizala, request by Nizala, and now driven by a secretary. So I felt that okay, it's fine. And on the one hand, we are with Tibet House going through a different phase of its evolution. So now many people, they're already reached to a very different level of the studies, and yet the Friday class should not be compromised, should not be negotiated. We have to keep on doing this. Okay, so I'm very happy that this is like a new beginning, and so the Noble Mahana Sutra, Dependent Arising. So this one is a very auspicious beginning. What we need to keep in mind is, always let us begin with this. Say, some of you know that last year when I was in Singapore, usually Singaporeans, some of you must be knowing that Singaporeans, they are very courteous, very gentle, very sensitive, very sensitive to other people's thinking. And so it had been like several years that I've been traveling to Singapore, and then this was the general pattern of thinking, impression that I got of Singaporeans. And last year, my friend, the vice president of Tibetan Buddhist Center, he set some interviews, some people who wanted to meet me separately. And then there was one professor. So I was just expecting the courtesy, sensitivity, all these things. And he was very different. He said, okay, you are a Buddhist. I said, yes. imagine, if you're not born in a Buddhist family, do you still think that you're going to be Buddhist? Wow, initially it was like a little bit of the setback, a little bit of shock. What is this question? And yet, this question is extremely important question. Extremely important question. And I told him that don't ever forget this question. This question is so important. In fact, how you put this question to other people, we should be a little careful, otherwise people may punch you. Otherwise, this question is very important question. And it is on this basis that people, they're born in this one particular tradition, and then they become this tradition, and anybody who is against this tradition, or anybody who is not in favor of this tradition, you become angry. So there's a split, divide happening between you and they, I and they. This divide is the cause of disharmony, cause of conflicts, cause of fights, religious fanaticism, fundamentalism. All these things arise on the basis of this divide. Okay, so therefore, what I personally always share with people is that from my maybe very naive thinking, is that whatever religion that you're following by birth, follow that. Keep that as your birth religion. Birth religion. Say, I personally, born in a Buddhist family, and later on, because of having had the opportunity to meet with lots of people, very brilliant people, very compassionate people from other religious traditions, Christianity, Islam, and Jainism, even the Judaism and Hinduism. So my thinking, it really helped me a lot to widen my thinking and to make my thinking broader. Okay, so that is where the point is that finally we all keep in mind that the humanity came into being, I think how many years ago? Few 1 point something million years ago? No, 8 point something million years ago. The human being, Homo sapien, came into this earth. So there, no religion. And then the community started to build up. And with the community, then what happened? That all this chaos, that me, you, automatically come into being. And there's so much chaos. Amidst this chaos, we see that there are individuals, for example, say like the Abraham, and later on, say if you look in terms of chronologically, say the Mahavir, Buddha, right? And then say in fact the Ram, Krishna, they are more considered as theological rather than historical. So whatever is the case, whether they be historical, so the great enlightened beings, they came. And then Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Guru Nanak, all these beings came. Seeing that the world is in chaos, then they have different mindsets, very compassionate and wise. So with this kind of thinking, they see that they have the potential to solve the problem of the humanity. So they came up with the principles, teach compassion, taught the philosophy and so forth. And then the followers, they created ism out of that. So this is how the different isms came into being. Now the point, I personally, what I believe is that whatever religion that you're born with, just keep it there as your religion, keep it there. And then whatever good qualities that you see from other religions, other philosophy, you adopt these things. Finally, you should be a happy person. The point is that you should be a happy person. This should be, this personally what I think, that you should be a happy person. One.
Number two, you should be wisely happy person. This is so important. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you genuinely happy, go for it. So meanwhile, there's no contradiction. There's no contradiction. Say, the maintaining one's own religion, and be a good person, the happy person, there's no contradiction. And in fact, this is what all the religious teachers, they aspire, they wish that their followers, they become a very happy person and somebody who can contribute to the humanity, to the happiness of humanity and the world. Okay, with this in mind, say what we need to learn eventually. So today is going to be more like the broad picture. Say whatever we do. Say you go into business, you go into academic lines, you go into medical, you go into what? Say the aesthetics, whatever stream that you go for. And finally, it is just ask yourself the question, why am I in this line? Why am I going this line? Then we'll discover that, so with this line, say one, I have aptitude towards in this direction. I have some aptitude in this direction. Number two, going this direction, I can see the prospect of me becoming happier. So this happiness, we see that finally this is so important, Your thinking, thought process. Within the thought process, there are so many facets. Within the thought process, there are so many facets. Say, I see the flower, there's a thought process there. And then all these assessments, what is this flower, what is it made of, the color combination, texture, and I like it, not like it, all these assessments come to your mind. So there's the innumerable thought process going on when a mind interacts with a particular object. Then this thought process, this is it, this is not it, this is like this. So this is known as the discerning factor, the factor which is meant to discern the facts of the object. There is one factor, the faculty within the mind to discern what the object is. Likewise, say Albert Einstein. He has this very sharp discerning factor pertaining to physics. Likewise, Madame Curie. She has this natural gift in chemistry. Likewise, say the Bill Gates, natural gift for the softwares. Likewise, Michael Jackson, a natural gift for the body movements. Likewise, what is her name? The Indian, what is that? Lata Mangeshkar. She has the natural gift to see the nuances of the tunes, melodies, whose voice is better than, for us, all voices are much more the same. But for her, she could see the difference, the nuances. So, say this is one the faculty where one is able to discern, the facts and how sharp you are in terms of distinguishing the nuances of the facts in that particular stream. You are considered as very good at it. And then, say out of thousands of physicists, you find only one, Albert Einstein. Out of thousands of footballers, we see the King Pele or Messi, right? And out of thousands of the chemists, we see Madame Curie. So we see that within the same discipline, although we say that he is so good, she is so good in this discipline, but the one who is really outshining others, outstanding, is only rare. Okay, so these people, so this is what is meant by the discernment, the sharpness in the discernment. Now, alongside the sharpness of the discernment, then comes the very important factor of the feelings. I'm happy, I'm not happy, I'm feeling a little tired, I'm feeling a little sad, I'm feeling low. All these things are accompanied by this mental discernment. So we see that if you know that these two things, both the things are happening within your mental process, thought process. One is discerning things. This is right, this is not right, oh this is very scary, oh no, this is very pleasant, this is very safe. One. Then number two is the feelings, right? So these two are very closely connected. Very closely connected. Finally, we say that, okay, be a happy person, right? Be kind to yourself by being happy. Number two, be wisely kind to yourself by being wisely happy. How to be wisely happy is by working. What you seek is happiness, and this happiness actually works on the basis of these two things within your mind. One is the mental discernment, and the other one is the feelings within the mind. These two things. This is so important. Okay, with this, now we go explore into the world of our mind. For example, let's say this is very interesting. Say some people, you touch any part of the body, it pains, acutely it pains, right? You can't even touch anywhere. It gives such a pain. So how to remove the pain? How to remove the pain? So they give morphine or whatever, right? Morphine is quite the scary medicine. Right? It's the last resort. Often in most cases, the last resort. Okay, you give these very strong painkillers, right? And then what happens? Then this feeling does not arise. The feeling of the pain does not arise. So the feeling is being controlled through physiological process, change in the physiological process. So the feeling is controlled. Feeling is a mental state, right? Feeling is a mental state. So with this, we come to know that, finally, somebody touches you. For example, your mother touches you when you're very sad, and somebody who really takes care of you comes to touch you like this, caress you like this, you feel consoled, you feel very happy. Whereas you have the physical problem, disorder, right? Somebody touches like you like this is a disaster, it's a pain for you, it's acute pain, right? Okay, so the point is, finally, touch is not the thing. The thing is, out of this touch, there's a pain happening. The mother's touch, there's a pleasant feeling coming, right? So that feeling is a mental process. So because it is a mental process, what we want is the happiness mental process. What we dislike is the pains, that is also a mental process. Now we come to discover that the pain which we dislike, happiness which we like, both are mental processes. Given that these two are mental processes, now it is extremely important for us, particularly nowadays, where the people say that you go in the metro, you go not really on the aeroplanes, you are not allowed to use the mobiles. On the metro, on cars, or in the public area, public space, people are always busy. Husband and wife sitting together, but both are on phones, but talking to someone else at a distance. And if that person is sitting next to you, you will not to talk to this person. How will you call on someone else? Right? So this is the reality. So with this, it is totally against the human nature. Human nature is we are all social animals. We have to live in community. We need interaction. We need, the social the meeting in the society and so forth. So that has been totally cut off by the gadgets. So because of which the number of the people are going through the mental illness is shooting up, and the number of the suicide cases is shooting up, right? And particularly the suicide cases amongst the youth and the mental problems among the youth is shooting up. So therefore, now it is extremely important. So if each one of us knows how the mind works, on that basis, you share this message, share this piece of information to the people you know, and they will spread this so that we can save many youngsters from committing suicide, from going through mental illnesses. And you wouldn't believe, some of us may think that this is suicide, this is just extreme case. No. If the kind of the pain that these people are going through is what we go through, no doubt we will also commit suicide. We are not, by no means we are different. Simply because we have never been through that experience ourselves, we just underestimate and undermine what they're going through. Otherwise, if the pain actually which they're going through, if this is what we should go through, no doubt we will just take the same step. So the point is that, see how much we can learn these skills. After learning these skills, and in fact, this has nothing to do with religiosity. Keep this in mind. Just to work on the psyche, how the mind works, happiness which we seek, the miseries which we shun, they are all mental processes. You're getting it? Say, with the particular medication, then the pain receptors are deactivated. When the pain receptors are deactivated, then say, we touch like this, no pain, right? What happens? That the pain is a mental process which you don't want. Now that came to stop. So what we don't want is the pain, what we want is the happiness. This is a mental process. We will learn this. We have to know this. After knowing this, then they say, if you want mangoes, we plant apple seed and expecting mangoes, this is a disaster, right? And it takes like a few years for the tree to grow, and finally when the fruits come, apples came out with no mangoes, right? Okay, it's all because we are being very unrealistic. If you want mangoes, you have to plant mango seeds, not apple seeds, right? Because the mangoes, they are determined by the preceding causes. Mango seeds as the causes, not the apple seeds as the cause. Likewise, if we want mental happiness, you have to plant the seed of the mental happiness, not to plant the seed of the mental pains. So this is the meaning of Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Deshan Tathagato Hyavata Desham Jayo Nirodha Evam Vadima Shramanaiso. If this is amazing. Say, one example which I share with other people is oftentimes, particularly in the schools, I share this example. Let's say, if you are the teacher, and one of the students tells you a lie, that the student is not at all keen to learn from you and not at all listening to you, and you instruct the students to copy the notes that you made, that you wrote on the blackboard, and that the rest of the students are doing so well, and one student is not writing anything, totally disobeying what you're doing. Would you be happy or unhappy? Answer is, we will be unhappy. And particularly if you discover that this boy or the girl is telling lies to you, what is your reaction? Right? Okay, look, in fact, we may think that this is one way of classifying, say, the ordinary thinking and transcendence of the ordinary thinking. Two things, right? If we learn skills if we learn skills, how to transcend ordinary thinking, then every moment is a very joyous moment for us. What is a very painful moment for the ordinary people is a great moment of joy for you. Okay, let me give you this example. Say, another situation, if the child tells you, your student tells you a lie, and lie in a very disrespectful way. What is you? In most cases, the teacher, if the teacher has the opportunity to say the school, to beat, whatever, the teacher will do that. In most cases, if not allowed, for sure mentally become very agitated and irritated, very angry inside. And this anger, no doubt, it destroys the teacher's own peace of mind. Whereas the same situation, imagine, say that you are able to really give love and affection to the child. In fact, this was what happened. Actually happened. It's not just the cooked up story. It actually happened. The boy was not at all listening to the class. It was, say, between age 8 and age 13. And the boy must be age 12. He was not listening and not note the writing the notes. Then finally I went there and told him, "You're not writing anything." He said, "Sir, I lost my pen." Then I put my hand in my bag to take, I used to take with me extra pens. And the girl who was sitting before this boy said that, sensed that I was trusting this boy and putting my hand in my bag. The girl sensed that, and the girl was respected by everyone. She's so obedient and almost perhaps the best student in this batch. She says, "Sir, he's telling lies. He has a pen in his bag. What should I do now? If I put my hand in his bag, 100% I'm going to get his pen." Right? And which means that he's telling me lies. Not only that he is disobeying, not doing anything, not taking part in class, he's also telling lies. It's a total disrespect. Okay, now it is a great, in a mundane sense, in a very ordinary sense, it is a great opportunity for the teacher. Now I can bring the child to shame and to embarrassment. Right? I can report it to the principal, saying that, "Look, this is what he's doing, telling me lies, not doing anything in class," and so forth. And okay, so I'll be gratified to see that the child is put to penalty. But is this your job? By doing so, are you happy? As a teacher, are you happy? You're not happy. You'll still, there's, say, antagonism against the child. So it is up to me now. What should I do? So, and of course, how I acted is all because of these practices that really helped me. Now choice, either I respect the girl for helping me to discover that the boy was telling me a lie, or I respect the boy and not bring him to humiliation. Right? That's in my hands. Okay. Now, funny, what is your agenda? This is my question. Don't forget this. I want happiness. I want to be kind to myself, and I should be wisely kind to myself. And this is my agenda. Whether I'm teaching, whether I'm doing whatever, I should be happy. And by bringing this boy to humiliation, that's really make me happy. If I'm stupid, I will have an immediate gratification that this boy is brought to humiliation. But you have failed your job as a teacher. You're going to be milak. Teacher's job is not to bring somebody to humiliation. Teacher's job is to transform, to teach somebody who does not know. Somebody who does not know how to behave in the class well. somebody who does not know not to tell lies. It is your job to change the child. And you failed in this job, right? And for me to feel gratified that now I'm able to put this boy who's so naughty, mischievous, always spoiling the class, now I'm able to bring him to humiliation, right? This is not the sign of my strength. It's a sign of my weakness. I failed to do my job. I failed to do my duty. Okay, so instead, the thought came in me that this girl, she has been receiving love and affection from everyone, right? By giving extra love and affection to this girl, it will not add to anything, because she's already receiving abundance of love and affection from everyone, because she's so well behaved, she's doing so well, she's so bright. Whereas this boy is the one who's deprived of love and affection. While this boy is at the age where the child needs the maximum love and affection, this boy is the one who is deprived of the love and affection. Now it's opportunity for me to give love and affection to the boy, not to the girl. So I continue to put my hand in my bag and took out a pen and gave it to the boy. And the boy reluctantly started to write something. Okay, the next day, I was teaching, and the children, the attention span is like 10 minutes, and the class is for 1 hour. And then if I say that, oh, you are a young child, your attention span is just 10 minutes, they'll be even more happy. The 10 minutes will become even shorter, right? Now the teacher has a very good understanding. Whereas I have to pretend as though like, I expect you to pay attention to me for 1 hour. Then, at least for 10 minutes, they will pay the attention. And after 10 minutes, class goes into chaos, just making noise here and there. So I said, okay, you want to listen to me? Not want to listen to me? Up to you, I'll not force you. But during the break time, I'll ask you a question. Anybody who can give the answer correctly can leave for break. Those who cannot give the answer will stay with me. I will also not go for break. I'll stay back. You will also stay with me. We will have to know the break time for us. Then the bell rang. The break bell rang. Then all the children, they are so busy. Now I'm going to give the answer. Who will have to give the answer? So I gave yes, you. Nobody was able to give the answer correctly. 10%, 20%, nobody could give 100%. Sorry. Finally, this naughty boy raised his hand. Right? And they dismissed me. Okay, when all the other boys and girls who are so good, they cannot give the answer, how can you give the answer? This was what is going in my mind, but I cannot say this. Then I asked him the question. He was the only child who gave the full answer. I was so fascinated. I said, wow, it's amazing. Now you can go. Then he packed up his books. And you wouldn't believe, that day he was not at the back row, he was in the front row. I did not notice that. He was in the front row. He was the one who gave full answer, no one else. Wow, I was so impressed. It was just a change, overnight change of this boy, right? Then the boy, he went, and then at the door, he did not leave. He was leaning against the door like this, like a very mischievous boy. Imagine, many people will take that as a disrespect for the teacher, leaning against the door like this. No, this is an incredible compliment to the teacher. The boy is saying that I have a tremendous confidence in this teacher. Right? This is not a sign of mischievousness. This is a sign of compliment, the love and affection that he could feel. So the point is, now imagine that if you are given these two scenarios, where the boy overnight changed, you could see the success. And not only that, he was leaning against that, and then I asked the second question to someone else. If the child gives 20% correct, 80% is coming from this boy, from the door. 80% coming from the door. All the questions that I asked to the other students, all what the students cannot get answered, they are all coming from this boy. Wow, you cannot believe this. You cannot believe this. How come that this boy had gone through this overnight change? It's all because of the love and respect that you've given to this boy, which the boy was not expecting, right? So that changed the boy overnight. Okay, so the point that I'm saying is that if you're given the scenario, true scenario, where you're able to bring the boy to humiliation, and the school principal calls of the boy, school principal contacts the parents of the boy, saying that your boy is very naughty like this, and parents are very sad, the boy is very sad, the boy is very angry towards the teacher, the boy dislikes the subject, and from next time, right, this subject, philosophy, I'll never even touch philosophy, right? So this is one scenario. And you have an immediate gratification. I'm very happy that this boy who's so mischievous, always spoiling the class, he's brought humiliation. Now the parents also got the lesson. Okay, this is one scenario. Another scenario is where the boy overnight change, right? And boy becomes a role model for the whole class. And the boy feels such a love and affection, respect towards you. This is the second scenario. If you are given a choice, which would you go for, the first or the second? No doubt everyone will go for the second, right? So where in the second moment you see that there's tremendous, incredible joy coming into you. Yes, now I've done the job, I've done my duty as a teacher to change somebody's mind, to make somebody who dislikes this subject to like the subject. Not only like the subject, is able to outshine in the subject. Wow, amazing, I've done my duty. You're getting it? So therefore the point is that finally, so what we seek is happiness. And this happiness is not because that the school principal said that, okay, when these mischievous things happen, you do like this, right? And then you put that boy with the what do you call it? Blacklist. Put him in the blacklist, right? That did not help. Your thinking helps. So the point is, what you seek is maximum happiness because of his concomitant cause, corresponding cause, maximum the refined cause, and the miseries which we shun is the result of a very refined cause of miseries. So therefore the point is that what we seek is happiness, what we shun is miseries. If we really seek happiness, we have to know how to embrace the respective causes of the happiness. If we really shun miseries, we have to know how to shun the cause of the miseries. So this is so important. For that matter, the point is happiness is the resultant state, misery is the resultant state, and what brings happiness, what brings miseries is also our mental factors, mental states inside causal states. So the happiness and the miseries resultant state is also mental state, and the causes of happiness and causes of miseries, they're also mental state. This we have to know. Once you know this, then the question is, what are the causes of happiness? What are the causes of the miseries? This is the question. So for that, we have to explore the mind. We have to go into the map of the mind. Going to the map of the mind, we see that the mental processes, they're divided into two. One, you embrace this, will give rise to miseries. One, you embrace this, will give rise to happiness. Right? Okay. So with this, the whole psychology, the map of the mind, whole psychology becomes so important for us to know the psychology. Okay. So the point is that the happiness which we seek is actually a mental state, and it is there within us. And the maximum happiness that we seek is also within us, right? Within us. And what I would say, very strongly share with you is, don't just believe in it. Don't just believe in this. This is so important. Explore. whether or not ultimately real happiness that I'm seeking, is it from within or is it from outside? Just explore. Don't take it blindly simply because somebody from Tibet House said it, so therefore it must be true. No, right? We have to know these things, learn from other people, and then experiment it within yourself and see whether it's true. Once you gain this conviction, that's very true, the happiness is just a thinking process with a very defined way of thinking, which could otherwise create pains on others, can create so much of joy and happiness, which ordinary people which I cannot possibly experience otherwise. Right? So this is a thought process. Once you gain this conviction, you see that it is our job to retrieve the happiness is inside us already. We need the technology to retrieve this happiness. What technology? The thought processes, proper thinking process, very refined thinking process. So this refined thinking process, which I call as the discernment, the sharpness of the discernment, So that will make us to retrieve the incredible wealth of happiness which we have. Okay, so this sutra, the Noble Mind Sutra, dependent arising, meaning that happiness which we seek arises by dependence on the respective causes. The miseries which we shun arise from dependence on the respective causes. Okay, and it says the noble Mahayana, noble meaning saying something which is not just for not just confined to the ordinary people's thinking. It is noble in the sense the thinking which transcends ordinary people's thinking, right? Which transcends ordinary people's thinking. This is known as the noble, or in Sanskrit it is known as Arya. Mahayana, you must have heard about Mahayana, Hinayana, and so forth. Okay, so nowadays we don't really, we are not so keen on using the word Hinayana because this seems to be a little offensive and derogatory. So therefore, we prefer to use Theravada rather than Mahayana, Hinayana. Okay, but we have to know the facts. The fact is, Maha means a great. Hin means small. In what way is small and great? It's not because that is my religion, therefore it is great. It is my tradition, therefore it is great. This is not a connotation. The connotation is the great and small in terms of what is your goal, the goal that you seek. Ideally speaking, when you follow Mahayana system, you are seeking the maximum happiness for all beings. For all beings. The goal is not confined to the self, it's for all beings. Whereas the Hinayana practices, their goal is for oneself. So the goal, there's the difference in terms of the vastness of the goal. So the system which is meant to help all beings is known as Mahayana tradition, and a system which is meant to help just the individual person, to give rise to personal liberation, that is known as Hinayana tradition. Okay, Manu Sutra, dependent arising. Okay, let us now quickly read this. Page 57. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So the homage is be paid to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas because this teaching, who practices this teaching is the people who are in this line following the Mahayana tradition, people who are keen to benefit all other beings. The moment you have a very genuine desire to benefit all beings, you are automatically known as Bodhisattva. So Bodhisattva means somebody who aspires to become a Buddha, somebody who aspires to become a full enlightened being. And Buddha, when you speak about Buddha, some of you may be thinking about Buddha Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha. Historical Buddha is just one example. In fact, everyone, Buddha simply means, Buddha means awakened one, the fully awakened one. This is the meaning of the Buddha. So it is not that Buddha means something confined to Buddhism. This is a total wrong connotation. Buddha means fully awakened one. Anybody who is fully awakened, that is Buddha. So even somebody not following Buddhism, this ism, not following this ism, whereas if you're able to discover this final wealth of the happiness within you, discover this fully, you are a Buddha. You are the full awakened one, right? So the point is that your goal is to become fully awakened so that you become like a sun to illuminate every atom of the universe. You become like a sun where you are able to illuminate and dispel the darkness of every single sentient being. That is a Buddha. So that is the ultimate goal, and one who aspires to achieve that is known as the Bodhisattvas. Okay, homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time, the Blessed One was in the realm of the gods of the 33. Sitting on the throne of Indra, together with him were great hearers such as Venerable Ashvajit, Bodhisattva Mahasattva such as Noble Maitreya, Noble Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani, who are adorned with immeasurable precious qualities, as well as various gods such as great Brahma, Lord of Saha world, Narayana, the great Ishvara, Sakara, chief of the gods, the Panchashika, the king of the Gandharvas. Okay, in fact, this is the background. The Buddha was in the celestial, the realm of the gods. There was Devis there, in the precisely the one known as the 33. And then they say, sit on the throne, and the king of the celestial beings, like Indra, Brahma, and all these were present there. And the Arhats, the great Arhats, they were also there. Then Bodhisattvas also there, like Vajrapani, the Aryan Maitreya, all these enlightened beings are there. Okay, the next the paragraph. On that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara rose from his seat, and having draped his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the peak of the Mount Meru. His palms pressed together, he bowed toward the Blessed One and addressed these words to him. Okay, Avalokiteshvara. He stood up, as can be seen there. Then he said the words to the Buddha. Blessed One meaning that the Buddha. And these gods all really wish to build a stupa. Okay, look, this is an incredibly great message for us. So he was informing this to the Buddha, saying that all these the devas and devis, they want to build a stupa. Stupa meaning a shrine, reliquary or a shrine. The shrine for people to accumulate merit. For example, say in Ladakh, how many are from Ladakh? Raise hands, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Say in Kinnaur also we have stupas. And where else? Where else can we see stupas? Sikkim, Dharamshala, Sanchi, Sarnath. Okay, so these stupas are erected in order for people to, say, one, to see the stupas, and the stupas will remind us. Stupas, they resemble, stupas in general, they resemble the Buddha's mind, the fully awakened mind. So it's a reminder for us that I also have that potential, that the gold mixed with the soil, the gold is not visible, right? And we say that this is just a soil, just get rid of this. But experts will not allow you to throw this. Experts will say, no, don't throw this is gold. There's gold there. How will the expert, they convince you that there's a gold? How will the expert do? Expert will remove the soil. Separate the gold from the soil, remove the soil. As the soil is removed more and more, then the gold inside will start to glow. The moment it starts to glow, you get a conviction, oh, there's a gold inside. You getting it? Likewise, our mind is like that gold mixed with the soil. as the metal defilements, as the soil-like metal defilements are removed, then the gold inside us, the wealth of happiness, that will slowly start to glow, it will shine, right? Okay, so this stupa is symbolic of the Buddha's mind, which is the gold in its purest form, where all the metal stains are removed, and the Buddha's mind, the purest form of the mind, which is like a sun, this is symbolized by this stupa. So when you see the stupa, it should be a reminder for us. If you're aware of this, it's a direct reminder for us. If you're not aware of this, it's an implicit reminder for us, indirect reminder for us, that my mind should be changed to the Buddha's mind. My mind should be transformed from the mixture of the soil and the gold to the state of the pure gold. This is what we should be reminded of, number one. Number two is that, so because that this is symbolic of the Buddha's mind, and that the stupas, we see that it contains relics, Buddha's relics and so forth, and also it also contains the scriptures and so forth, and the picture of the Buddha's painting and so forth, they are there. So therefore that is already blessed, and then somebody consecrates that, it becomes even more blessed. So they are automatically, when the object is blessed, then when there's a light there, when there's the lights there, then even though we don't have a light on our own, but we are illuminated by the external light. Because of this stupa is so blessed that we going close to that intentionally, unintentionally. Intentionally, it is more intense. Even without intentionality, if you happen to be close by this stupa, the effect is being felt, that we are being affected positively by the stupa. Okay, so there is a purpose for us to be positively affected. And the positive effect that we get out of the stupa is known as merit. So technically we say that the gods and goddesses, they want to build a stupa so that the gods and goddesses, they can be around it to accumulate merit. Means what? That they are going to be positively affected by these stupas. Okay. Blessed One, these gods all really wish to build a stupa. Now that they are present in this entourage, please teach them the Dharma in such a way so that the merit of Brahma will increase. Merit of Brahma. Okay. Say the merits of generosity, merits of ethical discipline, the merits of samadhi, and then the merit of wisdom. So these four merits, they are known as the merit of the Brahma, meaning that these, in order to take birth as a Brahma, you need to have enormous wealth of merit accumulation. Without this amount of merit accumulation, you cannot possibly take birth as a Brahma. So what are these merits constituted of? For somebody to take birth as a Brahma, one is the generosity, number two is the ethical discipline, number three is the single pointed, the concentration, number four, the wisdom. So with these four merit accumulation, you accumulate the merit equal to the merit required to take birth in the Brahma realm, or yourself as a Brahma. So therefore, the merit of the Brahma, meaning that enormous merit, has to be multiplied. They want to build the stupa so that the merit will be multiplied, will increase. And the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen will increase much more than that of all the types of beings in the world of gods, Maras, Brahma, including renunciants and the Brahmins. Okay, so they want to multiply their merit by making this stupa. So the Buddha, the full awakened one, please teach them how to do that. At this, the Blessed One spoke the verse of dependent arising. Then the Buddha, said this mantra, Ye dharma hedu prabhava hetum deshan tadhagado Hevata Desham Jayo Niruddha Evam Vadima Shramana Soha. Okay, the Buddha said this stanza. English, all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, so this stanza was said, and this mantra is, if you read it, if you know the meaning, you see that it has nothing to do with religiosity, right? It has nothing to do with the dogma. It is simply common sense. In other words, to put it in a very simplistic form, the Buddha is saying, if you are hungry, go to kitchen. Right? If you are hungry, don't pray to Buddha. Instead, go to kitchen. If you are sick, don't pray to Buddha. Go to see a doctor. Right? Okay, this is what the Buddha is saying. And from this we see that he's so practical. He's so practical. Right? In fact, we're also very practical. But our practicality is very limited. It has so many limitations. Right? Same, if you come to know that there are so many people who were suffering from tuberculosis, and they have taken medication, and then they were all cured. They don't believe in Buddha. They don't believe in any religion. They are totally atheists, agnostics, right? No belief in any religion. They took medicine and they are cured, right? Okay. And then one day he or she also say he or she is following. Say there's a Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Jain, Sikh, and Jew, right? All the people, all these foreign religions, they also become sick. They suffer from tuberculosis. Now they have seen with their practical eyes, with the real eyes, they have seen that all these people, they are getting cured. Right? Okay, if you tell them, right, unless they are not the fanatics, religious fanatics, if you tell them, you want to pray to Buddha or you want to take the medicine, right, we will take the medicine. So this is what the Buddha is saying. When you become sick, take the medication. You are the real follower of the Buddha. If you pray to Buddha, right? If it's truly dark, oh Buddha, please remove the darkness, Buddha will be very sad. If you light a candle, Buddha will be so happy. Right? Buddha is there to guide us. Buddha is not there to perform miracles for us. Don't forget it. And practically speaking, if the Buddha has that capacity to really, say, dispel the darkness for us like this, by performing the miracles, by now nobody should be suffering. Everyone should be in the heavenly abodes by now. But look, the world is still suffering, which means that, practically speaking, there is no one person in this universe. To speak very honestly, there is no one person in this universe who actually can, say, without the effort of the people, that he or she can liberate them. No. If this is the one, if it is possible, why not? Why people are still suffering today? So we should be very realistic. So from that point of view, we are realistic. But then because of our lack of the wisdom, to see that so many, the cause and effect, right? Cause and effect. This tuberculosis is because of the microbes, specific microbes. Okay, anyway, any nurse, any doctors? Huh? Bacillus microbes? Yes, bacillus microbes. Now, because this tuberculosis is caused by these bacillus microbes, ye dharma hetu prabhava. This phenomena arise from the causes, right? So, if you don't want the result, remove the cause. How to remove the cause? This bacillus bacteria can be removed by taking the isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol, these medicines, right? Removed. And then your pain automatically stops. This is what we are seeking. So Buddha, please remove my tuberculosis like this. Buddha will be very sad, even if the Aswanyasa, reform business, they're all lying on your table. Still you are taking it and saying, Buddha, please remove my, Buddha will be very sad, such a hopeless follower. Right? So this is the meaning of Ye Dharma Hetu Prabha. The point is that Ye Dharma Hetu, this is so important. This is amazing. When you see that this mantra really reflects the reality, you find yourself in incredible joy that I'm lucky that I found this mantra taught by the enlightened being. So Ye Dharma, Ye, these, Dharma, phenomena. This phenomenon, Hetu, cause, Prabhava, arise. These phenomena arise from causes. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. And these dharma, these phenomena, more precisely, this phenomena of suffering, the miseries which we shun, which we dislike, yet we are tormented by the miseries. These miseries arise from the causes. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat. Hetum, plural form of causes, Hetum. Tesham, these, Tathagata, the Buddha, Hyavatat, said. What are these causes of the miseries? Are said by the Tathagata, are taught by the Tathagata. So Tathagata, the Buddha, is a guide for us to tell us that the suffering that we're going through is tuberculosis. And what are the causes of the tuberculosis is the bacillus microbes, right? The miseries that we are going through. What are the cause of these miseries? Threefold. Right? Threefold. One is the unwholesome physical, verbal and mental actions. Unwholesome physical, verbal, mental actions, they are the immediate cause of the miseries, contaminated karmas. And what brought these contaminated karmas? What makes us to act physically, verbal and mentally in an unwholesome way? Because of our negative thought processes. If I have an ulterior motive, to extract some money from you, I may talk nicely to you, right? And then, oh yeah, you're so kind person. I've never seen anybody who is as kind as you are. Right? It's amazing, you are so kind. And then you may say, okay, you have 1,000 rupees, right? Okay, shall I give this money to him or not? Oh no, I know that you're so kind. I've never seen anybody like you, so kind. Even my mother's not like you, right? Okay, should I give, right? And it's amazing, wow. Then you're about to take out the 1,000 rupees. I said, no need, right? I can take it myself somewhere. And he said, no, please take it, then take it. Right? Okay, so with the ulterior motive, I extracted money from you. Is actually a form of stealing. Right? So this action is coming out because of this action of taking the money, extracting money from you, talking nicely, is all driven by the thought processes. How to deceive this person, how to exploit this person. Thought processes. So physical, verbal, and mental, the mischievous, the unwholesome actions, they all come from the negative thought processes. You getting it? Okay, so immediate cause of the miseries is the contaminated physical, verbal, and mental actions known as contaminated karmas. These contaminated karmas are driven by the unwholesome thought processes. These thought processes are known as afflictions. Klesha, afflictions, afflictive thoughts, afflictions. And what causes these thoughts? What causes these thoughts? Right? So for example, I'm able to successfully extract money from you. Physical, I took the money. Verbally, I talked so nicely. So these, what made you behave like this? Because of the negative thought process within you. What made you have the negative thought processes? This is the next question. Anyone? How many of you in your dream How many of you in your dream were involved in doing something negative or doing something positive in a dream? Anyone? Did you ever dream in your life? Yes. Some positive dreams? Yes. Some negative dreams? Yes. Sometimes fight with your brothers, sisters, or with the neighbors? Yes? Yes. Okay, tell me. Say, in your dream, right? Your mother brings cheesecake for you. And your brother comes to senses and becomes so angry and snatches it away from you. Particularly when you were age 5, 6, your brother is also age 7, 8, 2 years older, snatches everything from you. What's your response? Very happy? Or you become so angry and crying? Angry and crying, right? Okay. So this anger and cry, and then you start crying, you start hitting your brother like this. So this is contaminated karmas. This action is because of the negative thought that he must be taught a lesson, right? This negative thought. Okay, now tell me, what made you have this negative thought? What made you have this negative thought in the dream? What is the cause of this negative thought? This cause of hitting your brother, this is all because of the anger inside. So this anger is because of what? In the dream, tell me. Because your brother is snatching away your cake. Is that the only cause? Is that the only cause? Right? Okay. Say, the next, then say again you are about to pick up a glass and about to hit your brother, then your mother wakes you up. What happens to your fight? Your fight stops. Negative thoughts towards your brother dissolves. You getting it? Which means that this negative thought is not because your brother has, the snatched away the thing, because you have forgotten that it's your dream. You have created a dream and you have forgotten that this is your dream. You see the dream as real. This is ignorance or this is a valid mind? Ignorance. You're getting it? So now from this we learn that all these contaminated actions, physical, verbal, mental actions, for example, all these nasty things happening now, all these wars happening in Syria, all these civilians, ordinary civilians, innocent civilians, they're being killed, bombarded, right? And all these nasty things happening here in India, these young, the girls, all these things. So we see that these things are the same. These actions are the contaminated karmas. So these people who are involved in harming others, they're creating contaminated karmas, physical, verbal, and mental. So these contaminated karmas, they arise from their negative thoughts. Getting it? Their negative thoughts. This is afflictions. And afflictions, they arise from ignorance. You getting it? Ignorance. Okay, this is so important. So in this connection, we can actually speak more on this, say how the ignorance is like the one which creates the dream for us. Once the dream is created, then what happens? Then this self-centered attitude. Your brother, maybe you're the one who snatches the brother's cake. Maybe, right? So that is I. Ignorance created the dream, and it deceives you, informing you that this is not a dream, this is real. Actually, this is a dream, in the dream. And then you think, oh, this is real, so therefore I want my brother's cake, right? And then I, self-centered attitude, self-grasping ignorance creates the dream. Self-centered attitude plays on it, right? Self-centered attitude then plays on only when the football ground is there, then the Messi can play on this, right? Likewise, only when the self-grasping ignorance creates the dream, then within this dream, then self-centered attitude will play. I want this, I don't want this, I want this, I don't want this. So these two things, self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, combined together, Combined together will make your mind very active, anger, attachment, jealousy, all these things are given rise to. So these negative thought processes will make you to act physically, verbally, and mentally. And that will give rise to the whole miseries. Whole misery, chapter of the miseries is opened, created newly. Also tell me now, all the miseries, they arise from contaminated karmas. Contaminated karmas arise from afflictions. Afflictions arise from self-grasping ignorance. This we have to know. This we have to know. So, ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these miseries, they arise from their respective causes. What are the causes? What are the causes? What we have learned? Contaminated karmas, afflictions, and self-grasping ignorance. So these causes, what these causes are, is taught by the Tathagata, right? So, if the Tathagata, if the Buddha is to arrive, the Buddha here, if he is to arrive, if he is to come appear to you in person right now, what I told you is actually what he said. He will not have any extra thing to say. So this is what he said. Contaminated karmas, afflictions, ignorance. So we have to evaluate that whether or not this is true in our own experience. How my physical, verbal, mental actions are responsible for all my own miseries. And these physical, verbal, mental karmas, they are given rise to by my negative thought processes. And thought processes are because of the belief in the ignorance. Once we gain this conviction, then this mantra will make total sense to you. It's of incredible value. Yedarma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagado hyavatat. Next, tesham chayo nirodha. Okay, now tell me, particularly, say, those of you who are listening to this more than first time, tell me, given that you're already informed how the miseries which we shun, which we dislike, how these miseries come into being, what are the causes of the miseries? 3. Contaminated karmas, afflictions, and ignorance. Right? Okay, ignorance is also afflictions, don't forget it. Ignorance is also afflictions, but the ignorance, why? Ignorance is counted as separate. It's counted as separate. It's like the ministers and the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is also minister, right? But the ministers, we have the Prime Minister here and the minister is here, as though like the Prime Minister is not the minister. Because it's the Prime, he's counted as separate. Likewise, afflictions also, no. The self-grasping ignorance is also affliction, but why this is counted as separate is because this is the chief of the main of the afflictions. Okay, so we say there are 3 things. Now with these things, with this, if I tell you, okay, these 3 are, this is the how sequentially your miseries come into being. Ignorance, given rise to afflictions, given rise to contaminated karmas, then the miseries. If this is a picture that I share with you, tell me, if you don't want the miseries, what will you do? After knowing how the miseries come into being, by depends on what causes, knowing this, if I ask you, how can you bring an end to the miseries, what will you do? Tell me, just in one line, say something. Very quick. Anyone?
Attack the ignorance.
Wonderful. Just cut the ignorance, right? Cut the root. Automatically, what comes out of the root? What comes out of the ignorance? Afflictions, attachment, anger, jealousy, all will disappear. Once these afflictions disappear, the driving force within your mind disappears. When this driving force, what drives us to physically, verbally act, they stop. Once the driving forces stop, then all these actions will automatically stop. When the contaminated karmas stop, then the miseries automatically stop. Once you cut the root, however millions of poisonous leaves that are growing on the tree, they will all dry automatically, right? So the wisest thing to do is to eradicate the ignorance. Tell me, how will you eradicate the ignorance? How will you eradicate the ignorance? In other words, how will you bring the state of cessation? Cessation meaning coming to an end, bring an end to the ignorance. How do you do that? Okay, through awareness. Okay, tell me, if you are so keen to read the sutra now, and there's power cut, right? What are you going to do? Light it, light the candle, beautiful, right? Oh Buddha, please remove the darkness, don't say this, right? Just ask the secretary, hey Tibetan secretary, do you have a candle, right? And then she will say, yes, we have. And then you light a candle. Just by introducing the light, the darkness will go away automatically, will be dispelled. Likewise, if we don't want the darkness of the ignorance, the wisest thing to do is to light the candle of the wisdom. Introduce the light of the wisdom. The next question, what is this wisdom? The wisdom is to discover the reality as it is. Wisdom, by the very definition, is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. The wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What is the reality? Right? The reality is that everything is like a dream. If everything is like a dream, how can I come out of this dream? Wake up. How can you come out of the dream? Wake up. Right? Wake up. If you wake up fully, you will be known as the fully awakened one. Right? You are known as the fully awakened one. At that point, you are a Buddha. Technically, you are a Buddha. Right? Okay. So it says, Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tadagato hyavata desham chayo nirodha. How to bring an end to the cause of these miseries. How to bring an end. Desham chayo nirodha. Nirodha means cessation. Bring an end or cessation. Desham, these, desham, plural form, chayo, say the plural form of these causes. Chayo is these, nirodha is the cessation or bringing an end to these causes. Evam is thus, vadi is taught. How to bring an end to these causes is taught by Mahashramana. Mahashramana is Maha is the great, Shramana is the seer or the saint, the great saint, right? Meaning the fully awakened one. Fully awakened. Ye Swaha. Swaha is the, it is thus established. Okay, so this is very precious mantra. And should you, in fact, I encounter with many people who say that, okay, I have the friend whose mother passed away, whose father passed away, my friend passed away, is hospitalized, there's this problem, that problem, so forth. For them, what you can do is that you can recite this mantra for them. You can recite this mantra, right? Recite the mantra for them. And if the other person is quite receptive to what you have to share with, then you can teach this mantra to the person and let the person also recite this. So this is considered to be a very, very powerful mantra to heal to remove our obstacles, right? Okay. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes is what is taught by the great seer. Okay, this is what the Buddha said. Then, let's see. Avalokiteshvara, it is like this. Who is saying this? The Buddha is saying this. Avalokiteshvara, it is like this. This dependent arising is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. So this concept of dependent arising, how my miseries, they arise by dependence on the causes conditions. How my happiness also comes into being by dependence on causes conditions. This concept of the dependent origination, this is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. This is the ultimate reality. This ultimate reality which produced all the Buddhas. Say, we see that flower is pink, and the roof, the ceiling is white, and the walls are like what? The wooden color, and the floor is green. However, millions of diversity that we see, we will all agree that they are all made of electrons, protons, neutrons. You agree with me or not? On the level of the electrons, protons, there is no difference. There's no difference. Superficially, you see the differences. Likewise, all the Buddhas, the fabric of all the Buddhas is the Dharmakaya. What is that Dharmakaya which produces all the Buddhas? Is this wisdom of the dependent arising. The wisdom which knows the dependent arising. That the happiness is a result of the good deeds, good thoughts, and the wisdom. And the miseries are the results of the negative deeds, and the bad thoughts, afflictions, and the ignorance. And so this dependent arising, this wisdom, is the one which gave rise to all the Buddhas. He who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata. Right? Whosoever sees this dependent arising, dependent origination, how everything comes into being by dependent on other factors. Whosoever sees this person will be awakened. You're getting it? So dream. Say, in your dream, how many of you have dream of being chased by ghost in your life? Chased by ghost? Or only one? 2? 3? Okay, there are many more. 4. Okay, let's say all of us, let's say we dreamt of being chased by ghost, right? Okay. And you were running, or you were just you were fighting against a ghost? Running, right? Why do you have to run? It's just a dream. Why are you running? You are still in the bed. Why are you running? Why? Why? Huh?
It seems like a reality.
Yes. I thought it was real. You're getting it? What is it? Real as opposed to being a dream. You're getting it? Real, I thought it was real as opposed to being a dream. Okay, so the Buddha said that whosoever sees dependent arising, dependent origination, meaning that what is really happening is it arises by dependence on my own mind. Yes, no? Dream. The dream goes chasing you. It arises by dependence on my mind creating it, not really from the air. You getting it? Dependent arising, but dependence on your mind. Once you know this, when will you know this? When will you know this? You will know this when you wake up or when you are in the dream? When you wake up. You're getting it? So whosoever sees dependent arising, whosoever sees that things come into being, this dream is coming from my mind, that person is the awakened one. You agree with me? Awakened one. So now there are 2 dreams. One is conventional dream, which we used to have, and the other one is the unconventional dream. Right? Conventional dream and unconventional dream. Okay. Conventional dream, we all have the experience. What is an unconventional dream? Conventionally, what we call as non-dream. This is also another dream. Very subtle dream. What is happening now? Is this conventional dream? Is this conventional dream? What is happening now? Is it conventional dream? It is not, but it is unconventional dream. Conventional dream lasts maximum for 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And then you wake up. Unconventional dream, we have never woken up. If there's 1 or 2 here, right? I'm not too sure, right? Maybe then, in your case, there's no purpose for you to study this, right? If you're already awakened from the unconventional dream, you must have come here to check me, right? Whereas if you have not awakened from this unconventional dream, now, how to realize that everything is coming from, everything comes into arising by dependence on my dreaming mind. When will you know this? In the dream or outside dream? Outside the dream. How can you come out of the outside dream? By waking up, right? When you wake up, you become the fully awakened one. Fully awakened one is known as Tathagata. You're getting it? So it says that he who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata, meaning that whosoever sees that everything comes into being by dependence on the mind, on the mind, that person will be awakened, and that person is referred to as the Tathagata. Avalokiteshvara. If a faithful son or a daughter of noble family builds in a remote place a stupa the size of a gooseberry fruit, with a central pillar the size of a needle, say the stupa. So basically we say it is a noun with a very traditional stupa. It has so many facets. So this factor should be there, this should be there, so many components there. But the Buddha is, put it very simply. Say the stupa is white. Say the stupa, just the structure with a central pillar. There should be a central pillar inside. Central pillar, the size of a needle, and a parasol on the stupa, right? As a sign of respect. Sign of respect for the stupa, a parasol like umbrella, parasol the size of flower of the bagula tree, and inserts. Now, say in this stupa, just a small gooseberry-like, size structure. Inside this is the needle like the central pillar, and on top of this, there's what? The umbrella, like the parasol, like there's some flower on top of that. Even that is good enough. So then what? Parasol of the flower of the bagula tree inserts this verse in the central pillar. In the central pillar, it may not have any sophistication. Just put a central pillar there with the inscription Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Hevata Desham Jaya Niruddha Evam Vadimashramana. So just put this inscription on this central pillar. You put the inscription there, and then put any structure. Say even like this glass, right? So you have some glass, and you put like a structure like inside, and then write Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Write on it, or write it on the paper. Drape this with the paper, Ye Dharma mantra paper, and put it there in the central pillar, right? And with the due respect for this becomes a stupa, right? And not only stupa, let's see what the Buddha is saying. And inserts this verse of dependent arising. Insert this verse, which is the Dharma Dhatu. Dharma Dhatu means the final reality. Final reality of what? Dependent arising. Whole universe is operating on the basis of the dependent arising. Principle of dependent arising. This is the final reality, Dharma Dhatu. He or she will generate the merit of Brahma. Right? If we are able to look. So accumulation merit does not require that you have to offer, say, billions of dollars, golds, diamonds, so forth. Just if you're wise, just with a very small thing, like a small glass thing, and put it in like a, say, central pillar, and then insert the mantra, Ye Dharma mantra, essence dependent mantra in it, and then close it. And out of due respect to this, as a stupa resembling the Buddha's mind, why the Buddha's mind becomes so pure is because of waking up from the sleep of ignorance, right? So what makes the Buddha's mind to wake up from the sleep of ignorance? By seeing this dependent arising. How everything comes into being by the power of your own mind, nothing really from the object, right? Okay, if you're able to do this, then the merit that you accumulate equals the merit of the Brahma, right? Okay. Merit of Brahma. When such person pass on from here and die, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma, right? Okay. Then if you don't want to take rebirth, if you don't want to be born as a Brahma, it is not necessary. But the merit is there. If I give you money to buy a laptop, it is not necessary that you have to buy a laptop. You can buy mobile or whatever you like. So with the merit that you accumulated, if you are to take birth as a Brahma, you can take birth because you have that enough merit accumulation by the power of making this stupa, right? Okay. When they pass on from there and die, they will be reborn with fortune equaling those of the gods of the pure births. Equaling, this is the point, right? Now, after the Blessed One has spoken these words, the hearers meaning those beings who seek personal liberation, not the bodhisattvas. hearers, bodhisattvas, the whole assembly, everyone who attended the congregation, and the universe of gods, humans, asuras and gandharvas. Asuras, who are the asuras? Demigods. Demigods. Okay, you should be knowing a little bit about this. Asuras. It is said that say you are in the okay, you want to be asuras, so you want to be the gods and the demigods. You want to be the gods. Okay, so you are born. You are on the first floor, and the asuras are on the base. What is that? Ground floor. And the asuras, they plant an apple tree, and the apple tree grows, and the apple fruits reaches your first floor. So the gods, you are on the first floor, you are enjoying the fruit. Asuras who planted the apples, they are not getting the apples, right? So there is one tree known as wish fulfillment tree, which grows from the asuras' place, but the fruits are all given there in the gods' realm. So the asuras, they are so jealous of the gods, so angry towards the gods for that matter. And there could be other reasons also. Asuras by nature, they are said to be little angry person, short-tempered person. Short-tempered. So asuras, they always wage wars against the gods. So sometimes the gods are defeated by the asuras, and Indra goes into difficult periods of life. So therefore Indra, once he made the request to the Buddha to teach or to do something to stop the asuras from invading the gods. Okay, so this is asuras and Gandharvas. Gandharvas they are known as the smell eaters. Smell eaters, meaning that they are one category of the beings who survive on the smells, who cannot eat the usual food. They survive on the smells. And in fact, what we call as the intermediate beings. A person dies, and before the person actually takes up the proper birth next time, in between, the birth is known as intermediate birth. So this intermediate birth, they are also smell eaters, Gandharva. Not really Gandharvas, but they are also referred to as the smell eaters. Okay, Tissa in Tibetan. Gandharvas who all enjoy the two part in this congregation over this dialogue, where the Sherip Aravalokiteshvara made the request to the Buddha to give the teachings, and the Buddha gave this teaching about how to construct the stupa, rejoiced and praised his teaching. This concludes the Noble Mahayana Sutra on dependent arising. Okay, how many of us can build this stupa now? Huh? How many of us can build stupa? Very easy. Buddha made it very simple. In fact, this is a Buddha style, to make things as simple, right? There's no complication there. And then later on, slowly, things become very complicated, right? Okay, I don't want to go, it is not my business to go into this. Okay, sometimes say the Buddha, right? Okay, or Jesus Christ, very simple, right? Okay, I don't want to go into this, okay. And the followers, they become very complicated, right? Okay, this is not my business, I don't want to touch that area. Okay, so the point is that it's very simple, right? That to accumulate merit, just as the Buddha is saying that, in fact, from the Buddha's point of view, for us, if we have not seen the sutra, or to build a stupa, I need 10 lakhs rupees. No, for just 10 rupees we can make a stupa, right? So beautiful, it's amazing. This is what is required, right? Anybody can do anything. Anybody can do virtues. Virtues are not confined to the rich people, right? Accumulation merit is not just for the rich people. Even we as ordinary person, a very simple person, can accumulate the greatest of the virtues, right? Stupa. We can make it like this. Okay, why not we make a stupa, each one of us, right? Stupa, each one of us, a small one, and keep it there. You can buy a cup, right? A simple cup. And in the cup, You put up a small wooden stick, and you drape this with the mantra Om Ye Dharma. Print it. It'll cost you 1 rupee. Print it and cut it small, and with the glue, quick fix, or not really quick fix, glue, whatever glue, you drape this with the mantra Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava like this, or straight, or circular, it doesn't matter, and put it inside. And inside, put some very clean, clean sand, or rice, uncooked rice inside, and then close this, and out of respect, put a little bit of flour or whatever. Nowadays, there's the juice, these things. There's umbrella coming.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Small umbrella is coming, right? With the juice. Take this umbrella home, right? You ask permission from the hotel. May I take this umbrella and put it on and put it on the altar, right? And then show respect to you. And every day you see this, you recite the mantra Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Amazing! You have accumulated the merit that equals the merit to take birth as a Brahma. As simple as that. We don't need crores of rupees. We don't need lakhs of rupees to build a stupa. This is stupa, and you can give this as a gift for everyone. Anybody who has some difficulty, has some people say that okay, I have this obstacle in my so many bad things happening back to back. So many, don't worry, take this gift from me, right? So this will eliminate all the obstacles. Yes, and then say when you come across, I'll say new places. By going by train, by going by car, going by aeroplane, whatever, you see new places, you pray for all these people, all these beings there, not only human beings, even the insects, animals, the cats, dogs, cows, the wild animals, then the mosquitoes, everyone, tell them that, take this mantra with you, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, right? And engage in virtues, which are the cause of the happiness. Disengage yourself from the negative karmas, which are the causes of the miseries, right? And this is what will take you towards the ultimate happiness, to separate your mental defilements and let your gold inside, each one of you to glow fully, that each one of you will become like a sun to illuminate every atom of the universe. If you can do that, this amazing, so simple way of accumulating the virtues, and you can also teach others. That if you say this, many people will surely say that what you crazy. You're saying, making up the a stupa, making a stupa with a cup, and then with the umbrella from the umbrella stolen from the restaurant, right? You're crazy. No, you have seen the sutra now, right? You have this confidence. Buddhism is not necessary for the rich people; it's for everyone. So this is how the Buddha is proving, right? Okay, we will close this with the quick direction prayer. Yes. Yes. Oh, Tushita. In fact, Tushita is the realm. The realm where the Buddha Shakyamuni was initially leading the Devas and Devis, and then handed over to the Aramatria to be heading the gods and goddesses there. Yeah. So in fact, there are all these realms there. Within the God realm, there are all these levels in ways of hierarchy. Yeah. Okay. Page 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful chariots, Titans and Gyaso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samanthabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best but the victorious ones, thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not erased arise and grow, and may that which is erased not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into their enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization, the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of Dharma, of teaching and realization. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I gently demand a full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of Buddha, Dharma, and the beings of the snow land. You are the lowly soul that attends in Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who heard our medicine through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Manjushri in being able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life.